We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
The providential stories of God throughout time, especially when He chooses to use weather, obviously that He controls, are just incredible. I'd like to share one such story with you. It begins in January 17th, 1781 at the Battle of Cowpens. It was a decisive victory for the American Army forces when they were fighting the British. The Americans received word that the British were pursuing them. Tarleton was pursuing them, and they tried to avoid being trapped between Tarleton and Lord Cornwallis that were basically trying to trap them. The day before, on January 16th, General Morgan was approaching the Broad River, which was high. There were floodwaters, and it was very difficult to cross. He knew that that Tarleton was close behind. So by nightfall, he had reached a place called Cowpens. So he just decided to stick it out and fight the British rather than continue retreating at the risk of being caught by Tarleton while they were attempting to cross the river. Tarleton received word of Morgan's location at Cowpens about 3 a.m. that night. He decided to march during the middle of the night, and he arrived just before sunrise and emerged from the woods in front of the American position. Tarleton ordered his dragoons to attack the Americans. But now the British, with 40% of their casualties being their officers, were astonished and confused by the militia, how well they fought. Tarleton's exhausted men had nothing left, and nearly half of the British and the loyalist infantrymen fell to the ground. While Lord Cornwallis was angry, and immediately he began pursuing the Americans. And here we have the story of the three rivers, the amazing miracle at the Catawba River, the Yadkin River, and the Dan River. Listen to what happened. Now Lord Cornwallis was in hot pursuit. He decided to wait the night at the Catawba River instead of crossing over. He had seen the American troops cross over just 2 hours earlier. But to his disappointment, he waited, and then a storm began rushing through there that night, causing the river to become uncrossable for days. They got stuck at the bank of the Catawba River. They got stuck. It was uncrossable. They couldn't get over, and they literally watched the Americans walk away. Now listen to this. On February 3rd, Lord Cornwallis nearly overtook the American troops again at the Yadkin River, just down the road there. He watched the American troops again getting out of the river on the other side. Imagine that, seeing them in sight. But before his troops could cross again, a sudden flood ran the river over its banks again, preventing the British from crossing again. Now there you have the second miracle. You want to call that a coincidence? Okay, let's go for number 3. Now, 10 days later, Cornwallis is in hot pursuit again. Now it's February 13th. And only a few hours ahead of the British, the American troops crossed the Dan River into Virginia. And now the British had just arrived again in hot pursuit, and the river had just risen. The British were stopped again. 3 times, right in a row, miraculously, rivers overflowing, stopping the British from catching our troops. Listen to what the British Commander-in-Chief, Henry Clinton, said and wrote in a letter. Here, the Royal Army was again stopped by a sudden rise of the waters, which had only risen almost miraculously to let the enemy over, who cannot else have eluded Cornwallis's grasp. So close was he upon their rear. Well, there you have it, folks, and it wasn't much long later, in October of 1781, that the British troops under Lord Cornwallis surrendered to the American troops at Yorktown. George Washington, on the very next day, called for a service to render thanksgiving to Almighty God. Do you see the providential hand of God in history?
I joined the Marine Corps in 1966 because it was something I was supposed to do. I was up at 2:30 this morning. I came home from Vietnam today, 1968. 2 weeks before, it was the day I was supposed to be killed, I think. That's what I believe. So the fact that I came home was kind of a miracle in its own. Some of my friends didn't. Those 2 guys right there. Peter Armstrong, Vincent Santinello. This morning at 2:30, like I said, I woke up. It's interesting. Sometimes the soldiers sit in the stack over on my flat file for a while because I want to draw them when they want to be drawn. I've done over 4,500 of these, but I want the art to be so clean and so right for the family that I've learned now that if a picture doesn't want to be drawn yet, it doesn't get drawn yet. So that's why I'm doing Eldon right now. Eldon, our Khan. And he's beautiful. When I came home from Vietnam, I knew I had this debt. I just didn't know what it was. Trying to pay back my friends and trying not to forget them. Although most of us who came over from Vietnam were running as fast as we could to be somebody else. This was my destiny. It's a sad thing to think about, but the day before someone has to draw my portrait would be the last day I draw a portrait of a fallen hero. I sit here for really all those hours for nothing, other than the fact that this human being died for me, and he didn't know me. I have to ground myself. After learning as much as I learned about these people and drawing their portraits and doing my best to get some part of them home, I need to take a break. I need to actually pull myself away to prepare for tomorrow, because tomorrow there'll be 2 more. What this offers me is reality, the air and the eagles and the dogs and the people, and it's something that's right now put there to make me able to, I don't know how else to say this, break my heart again tomorrow. You know why I use pencils? I'm writing a story. I may be doing a portrait, but believe me when I tell you I'm writing a story. I'm writing a story between this young man and me. I'm writing a story between this young man letting me do this portrait. I'm writing a story that I don't even know what I'm writing. It's the message he wants to take home to his family. It's the message they will see when they get this picture, and I guarantee you they will. Every one of my pencils ends up telling a story of someone who died for me. Died for all of us. Love allows you to do things that you can't necessarily explain. When I start my drawings, I always put my fingers on this cross and I just say a prayer that I can do the best I can do. Because there's a message, like I said, that has to go home, and that message isn't something I'm going to know, but it is going to be something that does go home with this picture. But can't you see it in his face that he wants to get out of here? He wants to go someplace where else he's supposed to be. He wants to go where he's needed. That's the word. He's needed.
I do want to say this, Danny. This winter, my heart broke because you've gone through a couple of difficult years, being 22, the same age as Eldon when he died, and outliving your brother. And so I wrote to this man, and I asked him to do something. I'm giving it to you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's just beautiful.
That's good.
I know I can't give you back your brother, but I can give you a beautiful portrait of him. So it's beautiful. This is beautiful.
Here we go. Make sure it records when I get to that.
Every soldier who gave their life lives forever. Every soldier who fought the fight echoes in our minds. All the wounded and the brave, the ones safe, we salute your courage. Coming home with pride. Coming home with pride. Coming home with heads held high. Heads held high. Coming home from lands afar. Coming home. Coming home to your arms. All the heroes who defend our flag will live on forever. All the heroes, both young and old, that soldier on to unknowns. From across the changing world, we live in the hope that you'll come back home. Coming home with pride. Coming home with pride. Coming home with heads held high. Coming home from lands afar. Coming home to to your arms. I'm coming home, to your arms. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.